You're nice people. I agree with you. All right. What's making me do this now? The war really put a big damper on myself, on my business, on everything. And for a long time, I kind of sat on my hands. And then I was inspired by hearing Sherry Mandel speak. And she talked about our work being life affirming. And I thought, yeah, what could be more life affirming than what I'm interested in doing for women? And so I began to develop the program uh, over again. Hold on. And now people are arriving. So just bear with me a second. I'm letting some people in.
But it's very inspiring.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I hope I
right,
inspire
I
you
think
more.
that finding love in a time of war is something that just proves that we carry on living as opposed to, what's it called? Not carrying on with life.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to get started.
So I'm going to
Okay.
unmute myself so I don't interrupt you anymore.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to mute everybody. Great. So I want to welcome you all to my webinar tonight, Finding Love Again. And the purpose of my talk today is to explore and embrace the possibilities of finding new love, and to begin by sharing with you my own personal story, which will give you a chance to get to know who I am, what I'm about, and talk about what I think is required to be successful in finding love. And I just want to let you know right up front that I would like to spend about 10 to 15 minutes towards the end to tell you a little bit and introduce the new program that I've been working on, that I will be offering, and I hope that's okay with everybody. So I want to begin with my own story. So hang in there, I won't be too long. On July 7th, 1993, as I boarded a flight to Tel Aviv from Miami, that would absolutely change my life, I started to reflect on my life. Now, I was a bright woman, but I hadn't been very lucky at love. I had had a number of boyfriends and a number of relationships, some brief, some long, but there had been one marriage. I actually married the boy next door, but I was an adult already, and he was living in the apartment next door to mine. We met in the parking lot. We got married in 1977, and I had thought that if I had waited, if I was going to be successful in marriage, that I should wait until I'm at least in my mid-20s to get married. I thought that would make me more mature and able to have a more successful marriage. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, I was a bit more mature, but my choice wasn't. And so that marriage, after a year and a half, ended in divorce. And then I went out with a number of people, and again, had various relationships of different lengths, but no one wanted to make a commitment. Around this time, I decided that I got this idea that I wanted to become a rabbi. So I went to interview at Rabbinical College, and they said, well, we would be interested in accepting you if you would go to Israel and go learn at a place like Pardes for a year, and then we would accept you. You could go ahead and reapply. And so I said, great, I'm going to Pardes. So I packed up my life in 5 suitcases and boarded a plane and got to Jerusalem and started off at Pardes. And I was 42 years old, and I was alone. And as the classes, I got more used to the classes, I suddenly realized, oh my God, I'm 42 years old and I don't have anyone in my life. And what am I going to do? I just like went into a small little freak out at that point. So I decided to take some action. Well, first I went to talk to a counselor because I really was freaking out. And she kind of calmed me down, and I got it clear that why would I have to wait? I mean, I actually even had the presence of mind to get a get, even though I had a reformed marriage. I got a get. So who knows? Maybe I'll meet someone. And so I had that. And I decided, I don't know, I got muted there for a second. So I decided to start taking action. And at that time, you could put ads in the Jerusalem Post. That shows how long I've been here. And I got a bunch of responses to my ad, and I went out with several of them. And then finally, I met one that sounded really good, and I went out with him. And we talked for 4 hours, and I thought, wow, this is really it. And again, we dated for a short time. He proposed, I accepted. We got married. And I wanted to be a good Jewish wife, and I really tried hard. But things just started, falling apart, just not doing so well. And there were things about him that I started to notice that I hadn't noticed before. Like he was very controlling. And then I noticed that he had stayed in touch with an old girlfriend. And this was not good. And although I asked him to stop, he said, why? There's no reason. She's just a friend. So I wasn't happy about this. I consulted a Rav, and he said, what do you want to do? Play second fiddle? And I thought, no, I don't. So after 2.5 years, that marriage ended in divorce here in Israel. And I paused to regroup. I got a call 2 weeks later from a friend that I had been visiting with her and her husband, who lived conveniently down the street. They were from LA. And she said, listen, I have someone for you to meet. Now that you're divorced, and we didn't like him anyway, we have someone for you to meet. And I said, what, are you kidding me? I just got divorced. She said, listen, just meet him. That's all. I don't know if he's really for you. So I said, okay, he can call me. But I was like, really not ready for this. So he called, we made a date, and we went out, and we had a nice time. And then I didn't hear from him again. So I went, oh, okay, so this is what it's like, getting back out there again. And so I did some work with a therapist. I clarified my needs and my wants and in relationship. And I discovered that I do have resilience. I can bounce back even from those 2 divorces. And I had a pretty positive mindset. I was sure that there was someone out there for me. So my friend down the street called, and I said, what happened to that guy? I had never heard from him again. She says, oh, his mom died. I went, oh. She said, yeah, let me check check what's going on when he'll be back from where he went to the States. So she found out he was coming back, and she talked to him, and he said, yeah, he wanted to see me again. So he called, and then we had a second date, and it was very nice. And again, I didn't hear from him. I said, oh, forget that. He's not serious. So I started dating other guys, and then I ran into him about 5 months later, and he explained himself, and we started seeing each other. And shortly after that, we got married, and we were married for 23 amazing years until right around COVID. When COVID began, I had my mom living with us, and he wasn't real well. We had gone to the doctor and he was supposed to have open heart surgery. And then in the middle of everything, my mother didn't feel well, so I had to take her to the hospital. So I took her to the hospital and she passed away, which shocked the heck out of me. And so he went with me to the funeral and I spoke at the funeral and came home and sat Shiva. And right after Shiva was over, I get a call from the doctor that his blood test didn't look so good. And I should take him in, even though we had planned a major birthday party. It was on Purim, and all of his kids were coming because it was a major landmark birthday. And we had to cancel everything and go to the hospital. And so they checked him out for about 4.5 days. And I was going in every day. And he seemed okay. He was walking around. He was in a great mood. And so because COVID had started, they decided they wouldn't keep him in the hospital. So they wanted to send him home. So they said, go home and you'll come back next week and we'll do the surgery. So great. I took him home on a Friday afternoon and we had a lovely Shabbat, beautiful Shabbat. And then that night he went upstairs before I did and insisted on going upstairs. He said, I want to sleep in my own bed. I said, okay, I'll be up in a little bit. And then when I came up, he didn't look so good. And he had passed away on Shabbat, 2 weeks after my mother. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says, in every situation, there is a space between what happened and our thoughts about it. And this is an important space. And thoughts lead to emotions and not what happened. And thoughts can cause our suffering. I learned this in spades. That's right. Yes. Also, my daughter was in an accident, but after this. So it seems that 80% of our thoughts are actually negative thoughts. They're the ones that stick. The positive thoughts slip away. So I learned to use that space to push away the negative thoughts, the thoughts of guilt and the thoughts of anger and the thoughts of sadness, what most widows go through. In the depths of my grief, I struggled with my memories and my guilt, and I realized that grief comes in waves, and I gave myself full permission to be open to those waves and allow them to come. And I reached into my own reservoir deep inside myself, and I found my true self. I found myself was not broken. Myself was still there. It was strong. Even though I felt like I was falling apart, there was a part of me that was strong. and there was hope there. And so I decided that I would give a class on healing from grief. That was my first webinar that I gave. And that was pretty exciting. And I felt like even though I hadn't been that far in, but since my bereavement, I felt like I had learned a lot and I had healed a lot. And I felt that I was ready after about a year had passed after his passing to start dating again. So I went out with, some really nice, good looking guy and found myself super infatuated. And then I did a reality check with myself and said, you know what? You're not ready to date yet. Because it was like, that was so vulnerable that I was getting attached to this guy and he was not getting attached to me. So that was just a recipe for disaster. So that ended, and it was COVID still. And so I met a bunch of people online, which was an advantage in a way, because you can kind of get to really know a person without, the physical meeting. It kind of makes the physical meeting face to face easier when that happens. And so I went on JWed. I put up a profile. I started meeting people. And then I decided that it wasn't my way, that this just wasn't working for me. So I got up one morning, I said, you know what? I'm going to walk outside and everybody I meet, I'm just going to just tell them I'm looking to meet someone. Do you know anyone? And so I did. I went outside. I ran into a neighbor that I never see. And she says, hi, how are you doing? I said, great. She said, I haven't seen you in a while. I said, I know. I don't get out here much. And she said, well, it's nice to see you. You look great. And I said, you know what? I'm looking to meet someone. Do you know anyone? And she said, wait, let me think. And then she says, wait, our friends, who were my friends too, have a friend who lives in Beit Shemesh, and maybe he would be for you. And I said, why not? And she starts describing him. And he was one of the guys that I had been interested in, I'd seen on JWed, but I hadn't done anything about approaching him. And so they set up a meeting for us to come and meet at their Shabbat table in 2 weeks. And so the time passed, and I went to the Shabbat dinner, and I met this guy, and I noticed that, he was very kind and very attentive. He pulled out my chair and he took my coat and all that stuff. And being old fashioned, I kind of liked that. And it was really nice. I had brought my son with me because he wanted to come, and it wasn't a date per se. These were friends of ours. So he sort of engaged with my son that night. And at the end of the evening, he apologized to me and he said, I'm sorry he was so engaging that I didn't speak to you as much as I should have. And, can we do this again? And I said, sure. So long story short, about the fourth day, I was thinking, I don't know. He's a nice guy, but I don't know. I don't know if we really have so much in common. And we had made plans, so we sat down together and talked. And for the first time, the talk went to deeper things. And I discovered so many things about this man that I really liked. And it changed everything. Just being able to really talk face to face and on a deeper level. I saw a lot of things I liked about him, besides the fact that he was a gentle soul and attentive. He was also a very good person. And we continued to date. And at the middle of August, he proposed. And we had a COVID wedding on the street. Some 400 people showed up, and it was amazing. It was the community kind of made the wedding, and they made everything. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to make everything. Yes, Mindy was there, and it was a most awesome wedding. And that was almost 3 years ago. And I have to say that we are still madly in love. We are really partners on every level. When I said to him, when we were having that conversation, I said, what are your most important values in a relationship? And he, without missing a beat, he says, love, trust, and partnership. And I went, wow. Yeah, me too. And so I found a partnership in this relationship that I had always longed for. At 70, I found love again. And so after the wedding, people were coming up to us saying, you've really given me hope. You're saying you've inspired me. One even said, you guys are proof that there's a God in the world. And I started to think, maybe I should do something with this, because I want other women to be as happy as I am. I really do. And I'm a life coach and all those other things I told you about and more. I'm a lifelong learner. So I decided that this was my calling, that I took all of my experiences and all of my skills and all of my love, and I created a program called Finding Love Again. And my life affirming mission is to empower women to find joy and fulfillment in a loving relationship can bring them. So I did the first version of Finding Love Again in 2023. And it went very, very well. But as I said, a lot of things happened since then, and the war and everything. So I've been revising the program over the past 2 years. So back to what do you need to find love? Let me answer that question, in my opinion. If you feel stuck in any way, or if you have any of these kinds of thoughts, like there are no good men out there, or like I'm not attractive enough to find a man, I'm not young enough, I'm not brave enough, or any of the not enoughs, or if you say men are not interested in me, or that's just the way I am, or I'm not confident to do this, I don't feel safe doing this, etc., etc. Do you hear these statements? Those are fixed. They are part of being in a fixed mindset. And if you are in a fixed mindset, there is no room, there is no possibility of anything positive happening to you. You just get stuck in the mindset. This is something that I've really been working with in the last month, and it's been amazing. So you have to shift your mindset. That's one of the first things. And you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go places and do things where you might meet people. And this may be way out of your comfort zone, but they're not going to necessarily come knocking on your door and saying, "Hey, I'm here." It doesn't usually work that way. You have to be persistent. You have to keep the goal foremost in your mind. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, I want to meet someone," and not invest any time or energy in it. It has to be something that you really want to focus a lot of your time and energy on, because it's worth it. It's totally worth it. You have to be all in. That's an expression that I learned in the last 3 years, and it's really important. You can't just do it kind of halfway. You have to do it all the way. And know that you're not alone. You're not alone. You are connected to a higher power. And you can use any name you want for Source, God, Hashem, higher power, whatever you want. But I believe that that is really important, because when I look at my life, when I look at what happened even in this last meeting, I see some divine direction, okay? And I believe that that can happen. Other thing you have to do is you have to clear out your own baggage, the grief. And I believe that divorce, there's a tremendous amount of grief, just as being bereaved has a tremendous amount of grief. It's just a different kind of grief. You have to clear out the grief, the pain, the trauma. And this part might require a coach or a therapist to work with, but it's vital in order to not repeat your mistakes of the past. It's so frequent that women, who just say, "Okay, I'll just make me a match, just, show me somebody, I'll go out and I'll just take it from there." It really doesn't work that well that way, because we all carry with us baggage. And the older we are, the more baggage. And we've all had experiences in our lives that have had an impression on our life, or possibly caused us to believe a certain way or think a certain way. We actually maybe have filters on as a result. We might say, like I said at the beginning, after my bereavement, I said, "Oh, I'm not going to date anyone like him, because, I want this and I want that, and I want the other thing." It doesn't work that way either. Yes, you should know what kind of a person you're looking for, but the qualities are what's important. Not so much the looks, not so much the trappings, shall we say, of the person. Okay. So before we go to your questions, I want to take a few minutes to briefly discuss my masterclass, and then I'll open it up for questions. And I thank you for being so patient and giving me your time. So I'm very excited about this class because after the first one, which I got very strong rave reviews and one marriage so far, this one, I added some of the parts that weren't in the last one. I'm going to have some focus on dealing with the grief and the pain. I'm going to have some focus on eliminating the limiting beliefs, finishing the old stories that no longer serve you. I'm going to have the shift in mindset to a growth mindset. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to work with creating a new vision to help the participants envision what a fulfilling relationship looks like for them. There's going to be guided action toward realizing the new vision by taking steps, concrete steps, and this will be supported by what we're calling irreversible change. You know, transformation, I'm talking about transformation. You know, a butterfly is the symbol for transformation. It was always a symbol for me. But what really happens? Have you thought about it? How a caterpillar turns into a butterfly? They actually go through this phase where they completely dissolve into mush. And out of that mush develops a butterfly, a completely different being. I'm not asking you to change 100%. You can still be you. But if you make the mindset change and you take some of the steps that I'm going to outline for you, you will achieve extraordinary results. With the support of the group and the personalized coaching, you will be able to reach your heart's desire. So some of the features are we will have small group setting with personalized guidance from me and support from me and the group. There'll be community, probably on WhatsApp or on Facebook, probably WhatsApp. And there'll be 6 sessions with a question and answer separate session and a bonus offering of a one-on-one coaching session with me, a private session, which is going to help achieve a breakthrough. The course will use exercises and deep guided visualizations and interactive exercises, personal reflections, and a lot of community support. Some of what I teach will be based on Torah and Kabbalah, because I'm a teacher of Jewish meditation, but there's no requirement to be religious or even to be Jewish to benefit from this program. One of the elements I will be teaching, though, is Koach HaMoshech, which is the Jewish version of the law of attraction, which will help you develop your ability to manifest your vision. So I would like to encourage all of you to book a 20-minute free call with me to see if this program could be right for you. Or perhaps it would be more right for you to work with me one-on-one. So taking advantage of the free call will help you understand that. So I know what you're all thinking, you know, what is this going to cost? Well, I've also given this a lot of thought. I've studied various alternative healing methods for the past 20 years and personally invested significant time and dollars in my training. I really feel that today I have the best coach that I can be. After all the years and hundreds of people that I've worked with, and I've literally worked on this program, Finding Love Again, for the past 2 years. I believe that this program can create remarkable results for you and irreversible change, leading to your success in finding your love. The results will be priceless. I'm offering the 6-week program with the Q&A, access to me and others in the workplace, in the WhatsApp group, and the private coaching session. And the full investment for this cutting edge program is $297 or 1,100 shekels. Because most of you are Israeli, 1,100 shekels. However, if you sign up in the next week by May 26th, you can save $50 and get the program for $247 or 915 shekels. A payment plan will be available and pay it out in 3 payments or so. And truthfully, quite honestly, this is my calling. This is what I want to do in the world. I don't want money to be an issue that stops you from the possibility of fulfilling your dreams. So I invite you to please contact me for a free meeting one-on-one, free 20-minute to 30-minute session. And if you want to do this, after we talk, we will work out a way. So this is my personal invitation for you to join my masterclass, and I'm excited for your transformative journey ahead. There's no pressure. This is a genuine offer from my heart to yours. And I want to open now anybody who has a question about the course or about my background or anything related to dating. I'm happy to answer. I just need a drink of water. Yes, Lauren.
Hi, Meira. What I'd like to know is this. I've been divorced for 10 years, and I guess I just got so caught up in raising my kids and work and everything, and now the kids are flown. I realize that, I'm alone. Of course, the war has really impacted me. I'm just wondering if I waited, too long to sort of get back in the saddle. Like if it's too late, if there's like, if I just, because it seems like you found success and love very quickly and you were ready very quickly and I wasn't. And I don't know if I just waited too long.
I don't believe that you waited too long. I believe that everyone gets ready when they are ready. You were raising kids, you had to process a difficult divorce, and now you're ready. And that's the key. The readiness is something I can work with. The mindset, something that we'll work on. The baggage we can clear. And I totally believe that love is possible for us at any age.
Okay.
And I'm 73.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to say one other thing, that it's so crazy that I'm in my 50s, and I've noticed that, there are, there's this one active thing for what, people in their 40s, and then something for people 60 plus, and there's very little, there's like practically nothing for people in their 50s. And I just wanted to bring that up. I'm intending on speaking to the person who's doing the thing in the 40s and see if she can expand to people in the 50s. But I just wanted to bring that up. And thanks.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. It gives me some ideas for the future. I've also been working with Aliza Ben Shalom in her dating and matchmaker course, which I haven't completed yet, but I've been working on it. And, in the future, I might also make matches, but right now I'm not quite up to that. I like the coaching part best. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anyone else
Okay.
have a question? Come on, don't be shy. Tova, can you unmute?
Hi, shalom.
Hi.
I think I'm all very close. I'm very close with Eliza.
Yes.
She's a very close friend of mine, and it's the dating coaching is actually more important in many ways. And I've been personally worked with a few of her dating coaches, and it's been very helpful for me because there's even in my world, there's tons of available partners. It's just a matter of the dance coming together. But I really wanted to ask you about the law of attraction. I didn't know that concept. What's it called?
Koach
Hebrew?
Hamoshech.
Koach HaMoshech?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I
I
will-
didn't know
I
that
will
it
teach
existed.
you.
I know that all the quantum stuff I study comes from Kabbalah anyway. I just didn't know there was
Yes.
a name for it.
Yes. So law of attraction came from us too.
I'm sure.
Surprised?
No doubt. No
Okay.
doubt. Wonderful.
you.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for, wow, it's a real journey, and thank you for sharing that.
Yes, you're right, Adina. That's the feminine.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what did you write? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Koach Hamoshecha. Not that my Hebrew is so good.
No, mishicha is more like a verb.
Ah,
Moshech is, it means to attract. But I
Okay,
mean,
we'll
it's like
keep
an
moshech.
adjective.
We'll
I don't
keep
know,
moshech.
adverb, one of those.
yes. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Your time. Nobody has a question? Nope. Okay. Well, then I think that I must have done an okay job in explaining myself. It was fun. I am honored to meet you all, and I hope you will take me up on, oh yes, I want to post in the chat. That's what I wanted to do. I want to put this link in the chat. Hang on. One second. So, here we go. I am a little technically challenged, but bear with me. Here we go. All right, so this is how you can contact me. You can go on my Calendly and book an appointment for 20 minutes. It might be 30 minutes. We'll see how it goes. And it'll just be a lot of fun. We'll get to know each other. You can share with me more personal things than you could in this venue. Or you can write me on WhatsApp. There's my phone number, my WhatsApp number. It's easy to reach me on WhatsApp. It's not always so easy to reach me in other ways. I check it pretty frequently, unless I'm giving a session. So, I'll be using a variety of different kinds of work, including the journey work, including the meditation work, including homework, different things that you can explore. We'll work to shift our mindsets and create a container amongst ourselves to become a place where we can all blossom. And I really feel very strongly that you will get results from this course that you could not get from a previous course, even my previous course, because of a fundamental shift that I've been going through. And I am committed to your getting those results. Absolutely committed. So great. If there are no more questions, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your interest, your warmth. Please, I will have a recording. Please feel free to share the recording with your friends, family, anyone you think might benefit from what I'm doing. And also, please book your 20-minute call. And I thank you for being with me tonight. Stay in touch, and I will definitely be in touch with you soon. Thanks very much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.